Hello and good morning, my dear students of class 8. So, once again, welcome back for the online class on English 2. Last time in the previous class, I had sent you one audio clip, if you remember, on lesson number 5, that is, Armero has disappeared from the map. I'm sure all of you might have gone through that, isn't it? And that was the background for this lesson. Okay, and for today's class I would like to explain to you the lesson text wise. I'll read also and I'll try to explain to you. Okay, so kindly get ready with your book also. It's on page number 48, lesson number 5. Armero has disappeared from the map. Okay, now audio clip, if you have gone through, you come to know that this lesson mainly deals with a natural disaster which entirely destroyed one place called Armero, isn't it? Definitely. Now, when natural disaster happens, it really destroys the entire place. It changes the entire structure, isn't it? Like, for example, when we have landslides here in the hills, the entire geographical structure of the place changes. We have seen that, isn't it? Also, in the plains, when floods take place, what happens? The entire geography of the place changes. Okay. Similar thing had happened in the history. Now, this is a historical fact. Okay. Now, Armero was a place, it was a small town in Colombia. Okay. Colombia is in South American continent. Okay. Okay. So, Armero was a small town there. And when this natural disaster took place, not only the structure of Armero changed, but Armero had disappeared from the map completely. Armero completely was erased or got deleted from the map. It lost its existence, very existence. That is what we deal in this lesson. Okay, fine. So now let us go to the text. Kindly follow your book also. Okay. The people of Colombia were awakening to a new day. It was Thursday, 14th of November 1985. So just remember the date. Now, this incident, the accident that had taken place, is a historical fact. It's not a made up story, it's not fictitious. It has taken place in the history. So, 14th of November 1985. I turned on the radio to get the morning news. I could hardly believe my ears as the announcer's voice exclaimed, Armero has disappeared from the map. A portion of Chinchina has been swept away in a mudslide. Now, mudslide means almost like it's a landslide. Okay, because of this, entire Armero has disappeared. Now, this was the morning news in Colombia, and entire Colombia was shaken by this news that the small town Armero has completely disappeared. Okay, lost its identity or existence. I listened in utter disbelief as the news report continued. Armero, a town of some 28,000 inhabitants, had been virtually wiped off the map by an avalanche. Now, avalanche, you know the meaning? It's a heap or the pile of mud or ice or snow falling from the mountain and destroying everything what comes its way. Okay, that is an avalanche. You can check it the meaning of mud and ice and lava. But what caused this devastation, destruction? Next paragraph. The night before, at about 9 o'clock, the 5,400-meter snow-capped volcanic peak Nevado del Ruiz exploded on its northeast flank, spewing out huge quantities of sulfurous volcanic ash. The tremendous heat from the crater melted a large portion of the snow cap. As a consequence, normally crystal clear, leisurely flowing glacial streams were transformed into the deathbed torrents of mud and melting ice, and you can proceed. Now, exactly this paragraph, what this paragraph is describing the main destruction that had taken place. Okay, now two things you remember, two names, Nevado del Ruiz. Now, this is a volcanic peak. Okay, snow-capped volcanic peak that's there, mountain. It's a mountain, name of a mountain, which is a volcanic peak, snow-capped. Okay. And this Lagunilla river is also there. It's a big mountain hilly area there, and on that mountain only we have a small river also called Lagunilla river. Okay, and as you come down at almost the foot of the mountain, foot of that mountain, Nevado del Ruiz, there we have this town situated. This town Armero. It is almost a valley. Okay, almost at the foot of that mountain is this town. On the top we have this volcanic peak, Nevado del Ruiz, and on between that mountain also we have this Lagunilla river. Now what had happened once was a volcano had erupted and one part of this Nevado del Ruiz, this volcanic peak. And because of that, what happened? This hot substance from within, no, this magma or lava had come out, erupted out. And when it erupted out, it hit the surface there. And because of that heat, the entire snow melted. And slowly the melted snow, the water, it started flowing downwards, isn't it? Right? And when it was flowing downwards, what happened? It met this river also, Lagunilla river there. It everything gushed forth there, and all the more when it reached this Lagunilla river, it once again got collected, and again with a huger, with a more intense this thing force, it started flowing downwards. And on the way, when it was rolling down, avalanche took place. It was not only the water body that was flowing down, but it was collecting all the mud, the trees, the rocks, whatever was coming on their way, and it was going, with a huge force. It was pouring out. It had taken the form of avalanche. No, it was with a huge force. It was going downwards towards this valley, towards this place, the foot, Armero. Okay, so that is what is there in that third paragraph, right? In the fourth paragraph, just over an hour later, a wall of mud, at least 12-meter high. Now, 12 meter means, if you convert it into feet, it will be around 12 3 36, 37 feet high, belched out of the narrow canyon into the valley below. Armero, lying directly in its path, was swept away. Only a few houses on higher ground were left standing. Now see that whatever land, mud, the snow, water, everything was falling. It had fallen on the valley, Armero. It had completely swept away the town. Only those high buildings, only high places, those places were left. Otherwise, everything was covered, swept by this so-called avalanche there. Okay, the mud, the rocks, the water, whatever, everything was swept away by it. Okay. Now this was the exact accident that had taken place. Now in the next page number 49, you see there what had happened actually in the previous day and all also. On Wednesday afternoon, the previous day, the smell of sulfur in the air had been strong. A little later, ash began to fall, but this caused little alarm since the volcano had been active in this way for nearly a year. Okay. Now, already there were signs. Okay, there was a very strong smell of this sulfur, this sulfur, because of the presence of volcano there, isn't it? People were aware of that, and also some small ashes had fallen on the roofs of on the city, but people were not at all alarmed by this, because they were used to this. It had been taking place since a year, so people were still they took it. It's okay, it's a usual thing, no problem. No, in the second paragraph we say even the emergency committee for civil defense had announced the people not to be alarmed. It's okay, no problem. There is no problem. Okay. But in third paragraph there, at about 7:30, a torrential rain began to fall and then suddenly stopped, to be followed by a strange fallout, a fine warm sand that soon covered roofs and streets. Now, at around 7:30 at night, there was a heavy rain, torrential rain, and suddenly that rain stopped. And after that, what happened? A very warm sand, that started falling at the roofs of the house, on the streets of the town, from that mountain there. Okay, more and more people became uneasy. A few locked up their houses and fled to the higher ground. The majority stayed. Now, slowly, this caused a little bit alarm amongst the people. So slowly, people started locking themselves in the rooms. Some started going to the little higher altitudes. Now, a little bit of alarm was there. At around 13 p.m., the mayor of Armero. Now, mayor is the head or the leader of that town, city, mayor, is an elected person, suddenly interrupted a radio program exclaiming, "The water is here it had taken an hour and a quarter for the avalanche to travel 52 kilometers. Now, a distance from, let's say, this Lagunilla River, this volcanic peak, down to Armero was around 52 kilometers, and it took around 1 hour and quarter, means 1 and 15 minutes, 1 hour 15 minutes to reach that huge avalanche, that huge heap of whatever muds, the snow, water, everything. It took around 1 hour 15 minutes to reach down there. So suddenly the mayor of the city or the town is announcing that the water is here. Suddenly, it's very alarming. Next paragraph. Some were awakened by the heavy rain of sand on the roof. Others heard the noise and shouting outside. Now, frantically, they called the children and other family members out of bed. The light suddenly went out. The lights also went. People were banging and kicking on doors as they shouted, "The Lagunilla is coming! Run, run! The water is upon us! The volcano is coming!" Suddenly, everything went haywire. People were were not at all taking precautionary measures when they were already having this smell of sulfur. But now everything is happening so suddenly, so fast, that people didn't have time to react. They were just left there in a what to in a stuck. They can't do anything. They are now they are very much in panic now. All are banging the doors. Light also went out, and people are hurrying. They are trying to get their family members out of the house, and they are trying to go to the secured places. Now, had they already taken precautionary measures earlier already, then maybe this would not have taken. But they were giving, no, they were not caring for that. They were used to that smell and all. No, but now all of a sudden this thing is happening. Now they are in panic. They are panicked. Thousands rushed out of their homes. Cars, motorcycles, and trucks raced madly through the streets, horns blowing, heedless of people in the way. Many were run down before the wall of mud struck. It was a total panic, situation of panic. In the darkness, the approaching avalanche made a terrifying noise like two jumbo jetliners coming in low. When that avalanche, huge, that pile of thing was coming down, it made a huge noise, almost like two jumbo jetliners. Means jumbo jetliners were huge aeroplanes, which are usually used to carry baggages and huge luggages. So that kind of, with that intensity, with that sound, it came down when it was coming, rolling down. The churning mass or the moving mass climbed over the river banks, rose higher than the houses, and swept straight down through the center of town. Everything was engulfed and swiftly carried away. Children were ripped from their parents' arms. Ripped means separated from their parents' arms, and buried in the mud or carried helplessly away to their death. Now, deaths. Children were separated from the arms of their parents. Everything was haywire here and there. A state of confusion, a state of trauma, a state of panic. Nothing could be helped. That's why when nature is angry, last time also I was telling in the audio, we can't control it. We can't control it, isn't it? Last paragraph, next paragraph. Finally, it was all over. Only an eerie silence. Eerie means mysterious, frightening silence. An inky blackness, very black, remained there. Because no light, nothing, no noise. George Castilla, safe on a farm on the outskirts. Now he was one of the survivors of that accident. Said he could feel an atmosphere of death in the light. Atmosphere of death lurked there. Young people were coming out of the muck, many of them injured. They looked like zombies. Zombies means like people they are moving unconsciously, walking around, without, as if they are moving when they are in sleep. Zombies. They gazed at you with a blank stare. They asked for water, nothing more. It was horrible. Many people died, but some survivors, they were like unconscious. It was like a dream for them. They were just walking around and they were asking for water, nothing else. Such was the horrific was the intensity of that accident, this avalanche. As morning dawned, a lone crop duster surveyed the valley below. Now, what is this crop duster survey? Crop duster is an aeroplane which is actually used to spray this medicine over the crops. No, so this was flying across this valley to survey or examine what has happened. What is the aftermath, let's say, the consequence of this avalanche. The surveyor could hardly believe his eyes, no, who was surveying them, examining. Close to the mountainside were thriving Armero. Thriving means full of life, isn't it? Healthy Armero used to be, should have been. There was just an immense expanse. There was nothing but it was a great open area. No? Immense expanse means a great, huge open area was there. Nothing. It was just a space there. No city, no building, no house, nothing. Everything had been wiped away. A grey mud with hundreds of bodies, animal and human, floating on the surface. So this was there. Nothing. There was no city. It was Armero. The town was had completely disappeared from the map. Okay, it was wiped away by this. Next page number 50, he reported, the town is just an enormous beach with only a few houses still standing. People can be seen on treetops, on walls, and on the hillsides. This is what this person who surveyed, reported. No, it was like a huge beach only, no sand, nothing was there. It was everything was covered by the the mud. Some few high buildings, houses were there, and people could be seen on the treetops and all. Some survivors. No, so drastically, this drastic and so fearful it looks, isn't it? Some survivors could be seen out there, buried to the neck and crying for help, unable to move. Those on the edge of the morass. Now, what is this morass? This is a dangerous area of low, soft wetland. No, wetland. You can't go there. If you get sunk there. No, you get sink there. So therefore, that is a morass. Okay, wetland. You can't go there. Trying to desperately reach those nearby. Using planks, they succeeded in saving a few. Some ventured into the muck, but then had to retreat as they began to be sucked down, isn't it? It's a wetland. You will be sucked down. You'll get into sinking. A rescuer tried to drive a tractor in to help. Within 3 yards, the tractor also was sucked under. It also got sink there, isn't it? So, 6 weeks after the tragedy, I visited the site again. Where a town used to be earlier, there is now a grey, wide, boulder-strewn beach in the shape of an enormous fan, testimony of the fury of nature. This one who has written this, after 6 weeks, he visited the place, and there was nothing. Where this Armero town was situated, it was nothing. It was just a kind of a beach, mud. And he finally says, testimony to the fury of nature. Testimony means it's a witness, the proof that the fury of nature. When the nature is angry, it can change the course of your life. It can destroy the entire humanity. It can erase you. It can lose you. No, lose your. It'll affect you, impact you so much that you lose your identity or your existence. That's exactly what had happened to Armero, a small town in Colombia in 1985. Okay, so therefore we have to be little bit conscious about the environment, our nature. Okay, we should always be supportive towards the nature, towards the environment. Okay, otherwise, if we won't be able to stand the fury of the nature. Okay, and we have to be a little bit conscious also, especially now also, rainy time, there are landslides will take place, isn't it? So we have to be a little bit conscious, we have to be aware what's going on also. Okay, little bit mistake of the people of Armero was that also. When already they were having the smell of the sulfur and all, no, a little bit ashes were growing, they gave a damn care, isn't it? Because this has been happening since 1 year, so they and suddenly when this happened, there was no way to escape. They were panicked. They couldn't do anything but to yield to whatever was happening to them. Okay, so this is what the lesson is all about. Kindly listen to the audio clip that I have already sent once. Okay, please, with that background, this text, you just go through this text also twice or thrice. It will be very, very easy for you. Okay, and in the next class we shall try to do the exercises for this. Okay, fine. So have a very good day, stay safe, stay healthy.